Welcome to week 16 of Emotional Regulation Insights. Today, I have the honor of putting a spotlight on Dan Newby, who is the co-owner of Dignity Incorporated and the co-author of so many amazing books: Dignity in Leadership, Dignity in Policing, The Unopened Gift, which I'm in the book club for right now. So honored to have you here today, Dan. And I wanted to put the spotlight on you in terms of you are an emotional literacy expert. And you were also going to touch on what a cluster is and perhaps give us an example. So I'm going to give you the floor.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Jolene. And I'm honored to be here. So I appreciate the invitation very much. Well, emotional literacy is a word or a term that some people aren't familiar with, even though we're very familiar with linguistic literacy, and we talk about literacy all the time. And the analogy I would make is that it's actually quite similar. If you think about linguistic literacy, when children are young, what do? We help them learn the alphabet, and then they learn to read and sound out words, and then they learn to write and create sentences. And pretty soon they have this tool that allows them to learn more easily, but their brain, which the literacy is connected with, also allows them to become literate and more literate. And with emotions, it's quite similar, is that we have native emotional capacity, emotional intelligence. But one of the things that we need to work on a little bit is how do we develop that? How do we develop the tool of literacy, which is being able to notice and name and then to navigate our emotions? So instead of just feeling emotions, we begin to see emotions as a tool. And there's hundreds of emotions. So if you think about that, we have some learning to do. And it's really not hard. However, it does take commitment and it does take time to, again, pause and notice and name your emotions and build your vocabulary and your understanding. So that's something I've worked with people on for about 15 years or more, and all types of people, people in organizations, educators, parents, students, people from every walk of life, because we're all emotional beings. We all have emotions, but many of us are emotionally illiterate. And that's one of the things I would like to address. I would like us to become more emotionally literate. It has changed my life for the better. Now I understand what's happening emotionally with me, but that also helps me understand other people much better. So, one of the things we do besides just learning about individual emotions, which there are many, like hundreds, is that another facet of emotional literacy is understanding similar or related emotions and the distinction between them. What makes them different from each other? One way to think about this is, well, we have a word fruit, and we all know what fruit is, but if we get more precise, then we call it pomegranate, banana, orange. And that's exactly what we're doing with emotions. We're just saying, oh, here's what's different, and here's what's the same between these two or three or four emotions. So one example is the cluster or the pair of acceptance and tolerance. And some people believe acceptance means, oh, I think that's okay. But in fact, if you go to the root of acceptance, it means what is, that is. So acceptance simply means that I acknowledge how things are. And what that allows me to do is not fight against it, not resist it. So if I'm truly in acceptance, it's a place of peace. It's a place where it doesn't take any effort. It's a place where I might not agree with it, I might not like it, but I'm not fighting against it. Tolerance is a little bit different. It means to endure or bear, to endure a situation. And so tolerance allows us to stay in a situation that's sometimes uncomfortable or that we would like to change for a period of time. Like we can endure the heat of summer until autumn comes, something like that. But one thing that's interesting about this pair is sometimes tolerance can be a kind of stepping stone to acceptance. If we really want to get to accepting something, and it's a little bit far to get there immediately, we can begin with tolerance. Could I tolerate the situation for a time and work on the acceptance piece? But the other thing I would say about these is they're not necessarily good or bad. They're not positive or negative. There are things in life that I would say we probably shouldn't accept. And there are things that it would be helpful if we did accept them. And the same with tolerance. There are things that we should never tolerate. And then there are things that it would be helpful to us if we could tolerate. So again, the more we can distinguish emotions and see how they fit together and see how they're related, well, the more, I would say, ability we have to articulate our experiences in life, our emotional experiences, but also to better understand what's happening to the people in our lives who we would like to support and who we care about and who are important to us. So for me, that's the whole value of emotional literacy, is we understand ourselves and those around us better, and we can navigate life with less effort and with greater ease.
Thank you so much. There's actually an entire chapter in your book on emotional clusters. It's one of my absolute favorites.
Yep.
Thank you for
Thank you.
your time today. We'll definitely bring you back in the future for another spotlight. Next week, we're going to talk about turning anxiety into fear and how this can actually be beneficial when it comes to well being. Can't wait to see you next week. Thank you again, Dan.
Thank you, Jolene.